Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to the Fish Fry. We're coming at you every Friday. My name's Courtney, and I'm here with my co-host, Eric. We are the two co-founders of Sourfish Events. This is our first live podcast, so bear with us. But last week, we did an episode where we talked about our fall bucket list, where we just basically went over all the things that we're personally looking forward to doing this year. And one of them was, a road trip. Here we are in Vermont. It's really rainy outside right now.
Fall weather is here.
Yes. Looking at farms, doing a bunch of outdoor running. And, so if you're looking for more inspiration on what to do this fall, check out episode number 22. So this week, like I just said, we are coming at you from Stowe, Vermont. Part of our welcoming of October this week is that we hit the road to visit this picturesque, perfect little town. And, we're going to be keeping the celebration alive this afternoon by having a virtual happy hour with you all. So, cheers.
Cheers.
We're doing this live via Instagram and Facebook. Today's conversation is going to be, basically how to prepare for the changing season when it comes to running. So, from getting outdoors in the cooling temps to, indoor options, nutrition tips, all that in between. We're just two casual runners who want to share our ideas. So, also, since this is live, we hope to get some good questions out of you guys. So we have Instagram here ready to answer some questions. So they can be really about anything.
Yeah, I think that's one thing is that we're going to be talking about running and nutrition and really focusing on the switch of like the changing of the season because we're going from hot weather to cool weather. So that's the focus.
Yeah.
But feel free to ask us really anything that pertains to fall, running, whatever. And just so you guys know, our dog Millie is with us here, and whenever we podcast, for some reason, she's
really
anxious
and needy of attention. So she might end up sitting over here with us.
If you hear something shaking in the background or something, that's Millie. So,
yeah.
And she just started doing, which is why I brought it up.
Yes. Right before we started filming all this too, she was laying on the couch whining because she knew that something was about to happen. Let's cheers to October. I don't know if any of you guys have a beverage along with us, but we are drinking two different beers. They're local to the area. I'm drinking the Four Quarters Little Umbrellas, which is very fitting because, like I said, it's so rainy and disgusting out today. We're planning on going hiking, and that didn't work out. So hopefully tomorrow. But what are you drinking?
I'm drinking from Lawson's Finest, the Space in Between. Lawson's is also local to Vermont, and they are really well known for their Sip of Sunshine.
Yeah.
But that's a very high ABV beer, especially for a happy hour at 4 p.m. So
yeah, I chose the lowest percentage one.
This is Lawson's Hazy Dry Hopped Undefined Ale. So cheers to you guys, and we'll get this started. So, Courtney, kick us off. What are we talking about first?
All right. So, like I said, we're in Vermont, and the weather has been very fall-like. Like I said, it's very rainy. But yesterday it was really nice out. It was like the perfect fall day. Very, very sunny, very cool, I guess you could say. So, we're going to start off by talking about the benefits of, cooler weather running. I think the most obvious one is that you're staying cooler and you're not warming up as quick. There's less chance of heat exhaustion, and your endurance really seems to be better.
Yeah. So I was going to add on to that. I think people, it feels wonderful, especially when you're coming from the hot weather. I know Erica just commented it's still so hot here in San Diego. So yes, I know obviously it takes a little while longer in San Diego to feel those cool temperatures, but once you get
eyes,
oh my God.
I'm wearing mine, but that's good.
But once you do get to those cooler temperatures, your endurance seems to go up. I don't know. Again, we're casual runners. We're not, this isn't super scientific based, but I feel better when I'm going out on a run on a cooler fall day. I feel like I can run longer. I feel like I can run faster.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because the air is thinner, you can just cut right through it. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a benefit. And there's a lot of cool things which we're going to talk about that you can do to kind of take advantage of the cooler temperatures. Unless you're in San Diego, because then, Erica, you have to wait a little while longer.
Why is she under the bed?
I don't know.
Sorry, she's distracting. So anyways, let's get started. I just want to kind of talk about some different outfit ideas. I think when the weather starts to drop and starts to get cooler, it gets to be a little questionable, and people start to not really know how to dress because they think it's pretty obvious how to dress in the summer, really light layers, and then in the winter, it's like, all right, well, let's just pile everything on. So in the fall, it always gets a little questionable. So personally, my biggest tip that I could offer is that you want to dress as if it's 20 degrees warmer than it actually is. So if it's 40 degrees outside, dress like it's 60. I know it sounds crazy, but really, I mean, it's how you're going to warm up so fast. I think the thing I always struggle with, and I think you can attest to this, is whenever I've done fall marathons, I'm like, wait, do I wear shorts or do I wear leggings? Like, do I wear pants? And it's always the biggest struggle. So I try and go by the rule, 20 degrees warmer than it actually is outside. So I think shorts or leggings, whatever you're more comfortable in, and then layer on top of that. So basically, you need to decide what you want your base layer to be. That means if all of your other layers come off, that's what you're going to be running in. Keep that layer, like I said, on the base, meaning it's the first thing you put on. Then build off of that. I think a light windbreaker, maybe a long sleeve texture or a t-shirt, really whatever you feel most comfortable in. If it's cooler out, definitely wear a hat or a headband because heat escapes through your head, so you want to stay warmer. And I personally am always cold, so gloves.
So
what about you?
I guess real quickly, like, visualize it. Like, if you are going out for a run tomorrow morning, let's say, I know here in Vermont, it's where we are, it's going to be, I think, tomorrow around like 50 degrees when we go out for a run. So, like, what would you throw on?
Okay, that's a good one. I think I would probably...
And assuming it's not raining cats and dogs like it is right now.
Yeah. I think if I was going to go on a short run, just a few miles, I would do leggings because my body I would do shorts if I were going on a longer run because it gives my body a lot more time to warm up. So short, say 2-3 mile run in the morning, I'm going to put leggings on, sports bra, and probably a long sleeve like tech shirt, and then throw a windbreaker over that. I think that would be good for tomorrow's weather.
Nice. Hopefully we do get to go out and explore.
Yeah.
It's supposed to stop raining, at least not as bad tomorrow. So
yeah, I wish
great.
We could shift everything, but then it would all fall over and you wouldn't be able to see it. So.
A quick cheers to Robert. He just said heady topper, please. You had one of those last night.
I had that last night.
So cheers, Robert. All right, so kind of outfit ideas for guys. I mean, I know they don't vary too much between girls and guys, but for me, I'll kind of jump. I think you covered a lot of the basics as like the whys and hows. So yeah. I'll kind of jump to what I would put on for a chilly, early morning run. I definitely will have my typical jogging shorts that I would wear whether it's 80 degrees out or 50 degrees out, but I will also throw on like a slim fitting track pant.
Okay.
So, and the reason I choose a slim fitting one is because I can start my run out with those on and not feel too bulky. Mm-hmm. And the key thing is while I'm running, I typically get hot really quickly, even in the fall. So with the slim fitting ones, I can take them off and tie them around my waist. So
tie your pants around your waist?
Yep. Believe it or not, you can. And that's like, I know
it's
I have...
girls, we just don't do that. It's either pants or shorts. And like, that's one thing I always say about guys is you guys have the space under your pants to like put more shorts or pants underneath it. We don't have that luxury.
Yeah. I have these pair of like track pants I've had for, I say 3 years, and it might be 4 years now, but I love them because they're perfectly fitting and they're very thin and they're perfect to literally, if I get too hot on a run, whip them off and tie them around my waist real quick. So I'll do those, and then I'll wear a long sleeve tech shirt, and if it's chilly out, I will also do a very light layered like pullover.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I'm not like, promoting this here, but like our lightweight tech hoodie, that like that's,
I mean, you can promote it. That's what we're here for.
But no, like that's the type I will put on just because it's lightweight and it'll keep me warm initially, but it's easy enough to again take off mid-run and it doesn't weigh too much. Like if I wore like a sweater like this right now, it would weigh too much.
It's too heavy for that.
So yeah, I'll do that, and we'll probably hop into like ultra cold weather running, like winter running a little later.
Yeah.
But like you said, if it is getting, if we're going away from the fall temperatures and talking about more like frigid temperatures, definitely like a beanie and gloves.
Yeah, for sure.
Gloves, I always do like the, I forget what they're called, but they have like the athletic gloves that are really thin.
Running gloves.
Running gloves. So yeah, that's my ideal outfits, and I have it with me. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to wear it.
Cool. Well, moving away from how to dress. Now I think we have that down. Can you tell us a bit about nutrition and any hydration concerns for the winter?
Yeah.
I mean, or the fall.
Fall. Let's not move to winter yet. Let's enjoy fall while we have it.
Sorry, it feels so much colder here in Vermont than it is at home, and so I'm in winter mind already, because even this morning I had to wear a puffy coat and a beanie out to walk Millie. So it went from 0 to 100 real fast.
Yeah. So hydration.
Yeah, hydration and nutrition.
Cool.
Tell us about it.
So I think the biggest thing with this is we're all so hyper aware during the warmer months to always be drinking water. Especially a lot of us will drink water right before we go on a run, which we can debate if that's a good idea or not. But in general, during the summer and warmer months, we're always thinking hydrate, 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 which is great.
Yeah.
But a lot of us, myself included, will kind of think, oh, it's not as hot out, I don't need as much water.
Sure.
And that's not true at all.
And I think in the summer, it's easier to tell when you're feeling dehydrated, because you're sweating so much and you feel like crap. After if you don't drink water, you just feel terrible.
Right.
So it's easier to tell. But in cooler temperatures, it's not as easy to tell.
Right. So again, my point here, and we'll really focus on the hydration side of things, even when we talk about nutrition. Definitely hydrate all the time, just as much as you would, any other time of the year. And another thing is, people like myself, when it gets colder out, I tend to drink more coffee, and coffee isn't the best thing if you're trying to hydrate. So that's one of those things that beyond working out and exercising and sweating that way, think of ways that you're depriving your body of hydration. And if you're starting to drink more coffee because you're all about the pumpkin spice lattes, all those, it's time to start thinking about pairing that with a cup of water.
Isn't there water in coffee?
There is, but you still need more water.
I'm the worst at drinking water. I know it. I need to be better about it. I just don't do it.
Well, I have a couple of ways if you don't really enjoy drinking water. Some fall fruits and veggies that are chock full of water. So, a couple ways you can sneak in extra hydration would be cranberries.
Okay.
They're very rich in water. Zucchini, which is very fall.
Mm-hmm.
Apples.
Love apples.
Of course. And obviously here at Gordy's Pumpkin Run, we like apples. We like apple cider. Anything made from apples is good to us. And if you eat an apple, it's chock full of water. So a great way to get a little extra, as well as obviously vitamins and fiber and all that.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes are actually full of water. And one of the things that is chock full of water that we especially love here are pumpkins. So if you have a way to get your water intake from eating pumpkins, go for it. But just know that it's an excellent way to get water.
All right. Do you know how much water is in a pumpkin?
I don't, but when I was researching this earlier, saw a list, and it was actually towards the top of the list, and I was kind of surprised, and it got me thinking,
I think
how does
one,
because you look at a pumpkin,
he's not full of water. He's full of flesh, stuffing.
Not that pumpkin, not that Gordy. But again, there's ways. Obviously, I don't really cook with pumpkin too often, so I don't really know how. I'm guessing you carve it open and then.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
We're
so
not
we can move on.
Cook very often, but you do. All right. Moving on. The daylight hours in the fall are fewer. Is that how you can say it?
So we're moving on to safety
issues. So because it's darker longer. It gets daylight later in the morning. Maybe in the summer you're used to going on a 5 a.m. run and it's full sun already, especially if you're out here on the East Coast. But now you wake up, it's dark. You go to work, it might still be dark out. You come home from work, it's dark out. So safety issues. And a few different ways of talking about this here, but definitely if you are running in the dark, reflective gear is very important. We don't want you getting hit by a car. You don't want to get hit by a car. The car doesn't want to hit you.
Nobody wants
to be involved. So reflective gear is very important. And then also, let friends and family know that you're leaving. Plan ahead on your timing where you're going to run. That way you can tell your family where you're going. and let them know what when you where you're going, when you're going. I know I don't know if you guys use Strava, but I do like to use Strava, and they have a great safety feature app. Part of it is an app. It's not an app. It's part of their app, and it's called Beacon. So I have Eric set as my emergency contact, and then when I hit record, it pops up saying do you want to send this this beacon out, and it sends it to you, and then you can follow along.
Yeah.
Also using I have an iPhone, so the Find My Friends part of that is great, just so people know where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll interject real quick.
Yeah.
I think even you don't have to use something fancy with an app or something.
Mm-mm.
Even a simple tell your son or daughter as you walk out of the
Yeah.
house, or tell your husband, or
just where you're going and what time to expect you back. That's super helpful. Also, as a woman, I'm constantly thinking about my safety when I'm out running, and I mean, I think everybody should be thinking about their safety while they're out running. So I really like to carry mace with me, or when I don't have one of these, but I've been needing to get one. But it's one of those personal safety devices that sounds an alarm. So I thought that was a really cool thing. It's gonna make a really loud noise if someone tries to hurt me.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things out there on the market for personal safety.
And I just highly recommend that because you never know.
That's in general. That's not just for fall running, but for all
in
seasons.
general, all seasons of running. Also, in the fall, there's leaves on the ground. It rains. It could be slippery. So just watch your footing. Be careful with, where you're running, and just be safe.
Yeah, I think I threw that in the notes this morning because what day was it? Monday or Tuesday, I was going on a run, and there was leaves all over the ground in the park, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But it had just rained the night before, and literally when you're running on pavement and you come across a pile of wet leaves, they can be very slippery. Especially if you're planting your foot hard or taking a hard turn.
Yeah.
Just be very mindful, because all it takes is that one awkward slip, and you can hurt yourself real bad. So. And
then you wouldn't be running anymore. So.
I had my close call this past week, and I learned my lesson, and I will remember it all fall.
Good.
And hopefully it won't take a close call next year to remember my lesson.
Good. Let's move ahead. You guys know how to be safe now.
You guys know how to dress. You know how to be safe.
We're teaching you so many things.
Yeah. Progress. Cool. So let's look ahead at winter. So that's we've been talking about fall so far, but winter is a whole different ball game. Obviously, it gets where we're from, and for a lot of you listeners out there where you're from, it can get very, very cold in the winter. So that's when you really need to start considering your extremities. We're back to teaching you how to dress. But we talked about it, gloves, especially when you're running outdoors. Like when I run in the winter, I'm very bad at running outdoors in the winter. I just don't enjoy it. But when I do, the first thing that bothers me are my fingers. So what types of gloves do you recommend for when it's when we're talking 20 degrees outside, dead of February, winter running?
That's a good question. I only have one type of winter. No, I'm sorry. I have two types of gloves. One are really thin. They're a pair from Nike. They're just running gloves. I think they're good for fall weather. And then I have a pair I bought early last year from Lululemon that are a little thicker and warmer. I think they might have fleece on the inside, but then I had my surgery, so I didn't end up running at all last winter. So I haven't worn them, so I can't tell you how effective they are. But they're definitely warmer than the Nike ones. So I think just getting a running glove is really important, though. If you don't have a glove specific to running, that's okay. I think that those the magic gloves, I think that's what they're called. The ones that one size fits all kind of gloves with the touchscreen finger. I think those are great, especially because I don't condone throwing clothing away really. But if you are in a situation and it's so hot, you could throw them away.
Yeah, or if they get totally soaked or something like that because it's snowing.
They're a cheap pair of gloves that they didn't cost $20. They're $2 at Walmart.
I think also layering still is in effect. It's still, even when it's really cold out, you can go from toasty or very cold to toasty warm super quick. And one thing I know for sure is that you want to make sure that you don't wear something that's too tight where it cuts off circulation somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it's very tempting to wear like a hoodie or a shirt that's like super tight around your wrists or on your ankles.
Mm-hmm.
So just always remember that you want your circulation to be flowing.
Right.
But again, I think we are jumping way ahead because we are still in fall.
Yes.
But once we do get to those, super frigid temperatures, don't be ashamed to stay inside. Like, there's plenty of like 24-hour fitness gyms where you can go and run on a treadmill all you want. There's different ways to mix up your workouts.
What's your temperature that you don't go outside and run in? Like, do you have like a set one that you're just like, oh nope, not today?
I'm trying to think back to like last winter, and I think if it's above 40, I'm a-okay with going out. I think when it goes below 40 is when I become, no, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And I'll go inside. And my thing is I do different workouts in the winter, and I definitely lose my running endurance. And come spring, I'm very frustrated with myself because I go out for like, that first beautiful spring day ready to go do like 4 miles.
Yeah.
And by mile 2, I'm just like, what happened this
winter? Gotta keep up on it.
Right. But there's ways to stay inspired, because that's the biggest thing. I think in winter, it's more so like a mental thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've talked about joining a running club that kind of forces you to go out. There's online communities that keep people motivated. All sorts of different ways that you can just, stay on top of your running all season long.
For sure.
So let's kind of wrap up this part of the podcast and talk about like fun ways and making the most out of the fall running weather. Because again, I think my favorite season to run in is fall now, followed by spring. So, and once again, it's such a short, fleeting season. So let's talk about different like ways that people can get out and about and really take in the next month and a half of this running weather.
Trails and parks would be a great place to start. I think they're going to be beautiful. Any park, like pretty much anywhere, is going to be beautiful. You have the leaves changing, you have the cooler temps, there's people out walking their dogs and running, and it seems like a great place to start.
Yeah, definitely. Quick road trips to places you've always wanted to run, or places that sound fun to run.
Yeah.
So obviously we headed up to Vermont this weekend, and part of it was because it's beautiful here and there's all sorts of trails. I went for a run on a trail yesterday. It was awesome. And so that's just like one way that, if you can find the time for a quick like 2-day road trip or even a 1-day road trip and just
for running. I mean, people do it.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if Runner's World still does this, but they used to do, or they might still do, a segment in their magazine that was called Rave Run. And it had like a 2-page spread, that just highlighted a really cool area that one of their readers submitted like a photo from of their rave run. And it's like, that's kind of what you're doing here. We went on your awesome run yesterday. So all the pictures that I shared today, like that I didn't highlight someone out on Instagram, were from Eric's run yesterday.
Yeah, well, it was so pretty. It was full of sun, and you're running through these trails, and the sun's like cutting in and highlighting, all the autumn hues. But it's like literally like it's so gorgeous. And every time, I was stopping every like 10th of a mile, like, oh, this is a great photo.
Yeah.
And just like getting the angle right, and like that's another fun thing I have a little further down. But like on your run, find these like picturesque spots and take the time out to take some good photos. Capture a good photo of yourself against the backdrop that you're running against.
It's okay to stop.
It's okay to stop.
I remember like when I was younger, I was like, can't stop. And now I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
For a picture is fine.
So talk about like trying to like get a PR in the fall. Again, it's perfect running weather. Like, it's a great time to.
It is a great time. When what's the ideal? What do they say the ideal temperature is? I don't know off the top of my head.
Like the Berlin Marathon.
Yeah, like it's like 50s or something. It's like the perfect temperature. But yeah, I think getting a PR in the fall is definitely possible, just because you have the temperature and like the climate working for you.
And not just like, you don't have to do a PR for like a race you've done before. Like you can go out and do a 1 mile and say, I'm going to, over the next like, month or two, I'm going to work to get my fastest 1 mile ever and do something like manageable like that.
yeah, just start slowly pushing yourself a little harder, a little further. And, just if you do some speed workouts, I mean, the fall is a great time to get some speed workouts in because, again, the temperature is in your favor. You're not going to be, like, sweating it out on a track. You can do it on a track in the fall, and it's a lot more pleasant. So, get those speed workouts in, and you're going to get that time to slowly go down.
Right. One other way to get the most out of the fall, and this is kind of like a weekend hack that I've done before, is it is football season, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And one thing I've done before is I will watch the first half of whatever football game I'm watching on Saturday or Sunday. And then at halftime, I'm ready to rock and roll. I will head outdoors and run a few miles.
Okay.
And the halftime at football games is like literally they give you the perfect amount of time to get like 2-3-ish miles in.
Yeah.
So go do that, get back, have a beer waiting for you, have a pizza ordered. And it's a good way to literally kind of like you're watching the second quarter of the game, clock hits 0, it's halftime, you're out the door, do it, come back, just in time for the start of the third quarter, and then have a beer, and it tastes a lot better that way.
Yeah.
After earning your brewski.
That sounds like a great plan.
And it's also, again, a lot of people lose motivation on the weekends to run, so it's a fun little way to.
It's like a quick challenge. Like, can I get back in time for the game to start?
Exactly. So.
Cool.
All right.
Sounds
so again, that's kind of just we are casual runners, and those are just some of our tips and tricks to stay warm this fall, enjoy the fall, get as much exercise as possible.
Get out there, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself.
So, do you have any questions?
Yeah, let's open this up to questions. Who has them? I know we have a few that were submitted earlier via the Instagram sticker. So I guess we can start there. But if you guys have questions via Instagram or Facebook now's the time to send them in. All right. What aspect of the location-based events are you missing the most at the moment?
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. How much time do we have? So as a lot of you guys know, we had to cancel all of our like in-person location-based events this fall. We had 22 scheduled for this year, and they all got canceled. For you guys know why. So I think a couple of things I'm missing the most, and one of them would be just seeing the people we work with year in and year out. So we actually, on our way up here to Vermont yesterday, stopped at a farm and got lunch and a cider there, and it like reminded me just sitting there, seeing everyone else there, and seeing all like the workers and stuff like kind of behind the scenes. It like gave me like flashbacks, but like it reminded me of last year, just going and like seeing all the farm workers we have grown relationships with over the years. So that like was like a nostalgic moment for me yesterday. I didn't even tell you about that, but I was sitting there like, man, like we shouldn't be sitting at this picnic table. We should be like back, like chatting it up with, the people we know. Well,
yeah, I mean today it's been weird. Like we're not out there in the elements doing all this stuff. So today when I was walking Millie and it was starting to rain and it was cold, I was like, I get to go inside right now. This is weird. Like I feel like I should be like flagging a course or something and being not allowed to go inside for another 8 hours.
Yeah. Another part I miss the most is like on race day, 2 parts. Like when we have everyone lined up and ready to like hit the course, there's like probably like about because I'm usually at the start line.
Yeah.
And there's those moments leading up to it where we're on the radios constantly making sure that everyone's in their place, everything's good, which always are.
Right.
But you always have that anxious energy built up because you just we put so much time and effort into making sure everything on the course is perfect.
Of course.
And so then once that air horn goes off, it's just such like a huge rush. Yeah. And it's so fun watching everyone go. And then afterwards, once we kind of get everyone through the starting corral, once we get to kind of mosey over to the finish line to make sure everything, because usually someone else is in charge of that area.
Yeah.
I'll mosey over there and help out there, and just seeing people cross and just so happy, and then like talking with people afterwards. It's like,
yeah, I mean, like, we miss talking to you guys at the race.
yeah, it really sucks. Like, I'm not.
I'm like, let's get on the screen and talk to you all today because
Yeah.
that's what we can do.
It just really it's a great question because again it's a very personal question
Yeah.
because we it just the virtual race has been great this year and we love doing this and trying to be as interactive as possible, but we're definitely excited for next year to get back out there.
For sure.
Good question.
Yeah. I can't see these ones on Instagram because
Can
it's
you
going.
flip it?
I'm gonna flip this, and I'm sorry if we
if it
lose.
messes up everything.
Okay, now I can see it better.
That's probably
I'm
not
just gonna-
stand up.
No, we're just gonna hold it.
Okay.
All right.
Just focus on you while you talk.
Will pumpkin beer count? Count towards what?
Yeah, count towards what?
I say yes. Pumpkin beer counts towards everything, though.
Or is she asking how many pumpkin beers we've had this fall? We haven't had too many, actually.
No, we haven't. Let's see. We also have a question. What's your favorite Office Halloween episode?
Courtney?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah, there's so
There's
many.
too many.
Yeah, there's too many good ones. We watch The Office way too much. I personally think I remember the Christmas episodes a lot more.
Yeah.
As far as like being able to separate them in my mind, and like remembering key things about them.
Oh, sorry. Clarified. Does pumpkin beer count for the water intake? I mean, there's water.
A doctor would say no, and I think you should ask your doctor that question. But I would never say turn down a pumpkin beer.
Yeah, that's great. What else? Yeah, the Office Halloween episode. Is there one that you like really remember?
That one like sticks out. Again,
It's really the Christmas episodes that stick out.
Yeah.
But the one.
It's a Halloween episode, and I think it's the first season actually, where Michael has to fire somebody, and he's in his office all day, and that one I find hysterical when like Creed talks him out of firing
and then
him.
Creed's part of the season for like the series for the rest of time.
That one is really good, and I'm pretty sure because Michael has paper mache. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, paper mache out of himself. Yeah.
That one is a good one.
Yeah. Let's see. During a regular season, when I'm assuming when we have events in person, and like optimal travel conditions, do you prefer flying or road tripping to the events?
I love road trips. I know your answer differs from mine.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer road tripping, but last fall I did more flying than usual to get to the events.
Yeah.
And I found that useful because we were so busy last fall.
Right.
Which we've talked about on other podcasts.
Yeah.
But it was really good to be able to go to the airport and sit like at the airport with my computer before the flight and have like an hour and a half to like get through emails and get stuff ready for like the next races.
Yeah.
That was nice. But if it was like just road trip or fly, I think I would probably go with a road trip just under like normal, non-busy circumstances. What about you?
I prefer to fly in almost all situations. I just not a big driver. Don't really love driving, but yeah, I like flying. All right, and also for the same reason, it's nice to sit at the at the airport and just have a beer and get some work done. If you're driving, it's more time away from work that you can't get to your emails. So
yeah, during the fall season, we're on 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Sunday's a little bit of a break, but yeah, like answering
and you never know what day is what. And even so, like even though that we're not traveling right now and we only have the virtual run happening, you guys might think, well, it's a virtual. Like, how much is there to do? There's so much to do, and I'm still all messed up. I thought today was Saturday. I slept in. Definitely thought it was Saturday. Ooh. Michelle says she's doing her tough pumpkin with Gordy tomorrow. So yay! Good job, Michelle. Send us pictures for sure.
Yeah, we'll be. I think we're gonna get out there regardless. But I plan on running in the morning and doing my Rocktober challenge.
Yes, that's the medal right there.
Yep.
All right, let's do one more question, and then we'll. How long has this been?
Been 35 minutes.
All right,
Yeah, we can do another question unless a couple more pop up.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
All right. All right. What is a race or an event you've always wanted to put on but you haven't yet?
How big can we go?
I don't know. It's an open-ended question.
I had a crazy when we first started. We had some crazy race ideas, which I'm very glad we didn't pursue because we would have probably not be here today because it was sunk way too much money that we didn't have and we still don't have into them.
Yeah.
Snowball Scamper. Speaking of like being at a resort.
Yeah.
Talk to them about that.
When we first started the company, the very first idea for an event we had was doing an obstacle course in the snow, but it was 2011. Obstacle courses were the rage. Or I'm sorry, it was 2012. Obstacle courses were the rage, and that would have cost thousands upon maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to do.
It would have been really cool.
It would have been really cool. Maybe one day.
I want to do, and I still do. We'd like to try at some point expanding the distance for Gordy's, for obviously like location-based events, and doing like we talked about doing a half someday.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in us expanding the distances to 10K, half marathon, full marathon, let us know. Let us know what distance you're looking for because that's going to help us determine what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my answer to that is I want to do a Christmas run, and I think by this year, expanding into Thanksgiving with Gobble's free range 5K, I think it's really people are asking for a Christmas run, so I think it's one day, not this year, but one day. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's been fun doing this live. I'm sorry if it was awkward or weird. We've never done this before, but we'll get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see you next Friday for another edition of the Fish Fry. Have a great weekend and cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.